Hi guys, quick update for the YouTube side of things. If you guys want to join the group, by all means you can do so, and there's an FF10 10% discount on the masterclass, which is all the knowledge and all the modules basically um, in over 12 years, well, nearly 15 years now, looking at the market. So everything's here. You can have a look through the YouTube channel if you want to look at the previous calls. Many of them have been very, very accurate and very, very good. Now, very interesting developments here. There's clearly some bulls who are trapped. Sorry, some bears who are trapped from last night. Bit of tomfoolery here around the 200-day moving average, and we're now looking bullish again. Okay, the count as we have it is an ABC truncation into here. That's the only thing that makes sense, that this was in fact an ABC truncation into here, starting in plus 1 2 3 4 5. We're looking at a target of initially 92,656 on Bitstamp. On the Bitcoin futures, the targets are a little bit lower. We're looking at 86,435. Now, looking at Ethereum, once again, there are definitely some bears who are trapped last night, and now we're looking at for it to go higher. I mean, there's a 5-year algo target, unbelievable. 5-year at 5,200. First target's going to be all-time highs, then 5,200, and then we're looking at getting us basically somewhere between 7794 and 8414 on Ethereum. I do like the outperformance of Ethereum relative to Bitcoin. This is a shift line. Well, it's a shift pitchfork. I don't use pitchforks that often, but they do help to frame the price somewhat. You could still read this as a diagonal one. So this is a 1 2 3 4 5 diagonal, possibly a 1 2 going into another 1 2 into a 3 and a 4 and a 5, off a 3, then a 4, then a 5. That still gets you to 0.1, i.e. one Ethereum will be exactly 10% off a Bitcoin. If I'm saying on the futures we're going to get to 86,435, clearly that gets you an Ethereum hypothetical price of 8,600, which lines up exactly with our target here of 8,414. Could it get to 10k? Sure, it could get to 10k. Now these blow off tops, there's a couple of daily shakeouts here and there like there was last night, but essentially we're going to do something like this. So if we sorry about that. If we follow this exact pattern, well, that's the end of September. So these wave fives are usually very, very quick. So you blink and you miss them, basically. Now, interestingly, I have a look at the market cap too. Now, this is very interesting. If you follow the same count, ABC truncation into here, 345, wouldn't that be a great headline? Ethereum market cap gets to $1 trillion. Now, the Bitcoin dominance, well, this is somewhat confusing to me. Could it be a wave 4? It could be a wave 4. This is the only thing which is confusing, which is why we don't really want too much allocation towards the altcoins. But I suppose if Bitcoin's going to make a wave 5, a lot of these altcoins, you could argue, are also going to make their wave 5 runs. In which case, that could very well make a new low underneath it. If not, it could just be a big shakeout. Probably is going after the monthly low here at 44.61, probably just reverse that former shakeout pattern, may as well go higher. That is still a low volume inside candle, and we're halfway through the month pretty much. So I'm not entirely sold on the fact that the dominance is going to make a new low, but ultimately, yes, I would agree. Bitcoin up, Ethereum up, and yes, some of the altcoins may very well make some new highs going up. One little treat that I'll share with you guys, we're looking at Luna, so we do like this coin. Similar sort of count, 1 2 3 4 5, that gets you a market cap somewhere between 14 and 17 billion, which if you have a look at the fundamentals, there's a lot of YouTubers out there who have a look at the fundamentals. Apparently that is possible. Obviously my expertise is the technicals. We're looking at 60,000 sats for Luna versus the BTC. So only being in Bitcoin, clearly you're going to lose out on the outperformance of other coins potentially relative to Bitcoin. Looking at the USD price, well, 37.8. We've also got a target of 33 as well as 43. So either side of 37, we're looking at Luna. And, well, where does that get you? 14 billion? I mean, I don't know where it is on the list, but that's probably a top 20 coin then. 14, 18 billion. Obviously, the market cap of everything is going to raise. Now, for this to happen, for Luna to make a new high, for Ethereum to genuinely get to $8,500, obviously we need Bitcoin to continue doing what it's doing. The line in the sand, as far as I'm concerned, is 42,000. As long as we stay above either side of this monthly open here, 41,000. Well, 42,000, 41,500. Obviously, it could come back, retest the monthly open, shake a few bulls out, and then do this. That's okay. But we can't stabilize below 42k. If it breaks down below 42k, test that as resistance, then we're very, very bearish. So, of course, we would be bearish below 30k, but there's no way we're going to make a call that late. We're just going to get out of the way the minute it breaks below 42. So if 42 holds, the limit to be bearish is really where it was last night. A lot of people were obviously shorting the obvious algo, which was here. That is really your limit. So if you're bearish, you don't want to see it stabilize above this 61.8. The 61.8 is the golden ratio. It's the most important Fibonacci number, bar none. And the inverse of that is obviously 1.618. The reason it's so important is this is the line, well, the point of no return. If you're bearish, it can't really get above 47k and stabilize and go higher. Obviously, that would not be bearish at all. That would be bullish, meaning this is not a retracement. So if it's going to fall here, it's going to fall here, right now, and it's going to fall pretty quick. If you're bearish, that is. If it's not doing that, if it's not showing you price action which suggests a fall, it means all the bears are wrong. This cannot be an internal retracement. This has to be a new trend. So 61.8 is the most important Fibonacci number. Notice the 50% isn't even a Fibonacci number, really. Technically, it's not. It's a Gann number. So basically, you're at the limit of where you would be bearish, and a lot of bears are trapped here last night below this little shakeout, which might have shaken a few people out, but right now we're looking good. Could this be a larger triangle sequence going on here? A, B, C, D, E, relative to this 1, 2. That's not my primary count. Relative to this presumed 1, 2. That's not my primary count. I would rather take it as a new impulse from March 2020. Looking at the fractal on Ethereum, it suggests the end of September and we're going to be done with this. Looking at a 1-to-1, it suggests 29th of November. So, however long this lasts, at the latest, this move, I think, is going to last until about Thanksgiving time. I think Thanksgiving is the last, I don't know, Thursday of November or something. So, it's probably around the 29th. We know that's usually a good time for an altcoin season anyway. Can Bitcoin double in price before Thanksgiving? Of course it can. In this market, anything can happen. One more chart I'll share with you guys is MATIC. Once again, this is all if Bitcoin makes a new high. You're looking at $3.14 to complete the ABC. Well, to complete the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, it's also at the limit of where you would be bearish. So it's a fascinating market. You know, you cannot take your eyes off this market for 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go. $4.11 trillion market cap. I mean, it's pretty much going to take over gold. I mean, it's definitely going to take over gold. Gold is, you know, gold's not done much the last 5 years in my eyes. But the last year, gold has just done nothing. It's going to go to 4.11 here. And then on the total recall too, well, we're looking somewhere between 1.86 and 2.63 trillion. So everything can double, which once again gives me confusion over the dominance, but I suppose you don't really have to look too much on the dominance. As long as it stays neutral, that's okay. This current trend is going to continue. But yes, the dominance is somewhat confusing. Does it make a new low? Does it stay neutral? The last thing I'll just share, I mean, you know, we all remember the good times. Those who want to have a look through my old videos, we called a 3,000% move in Verge, BTS, Digibyte. You know, YouTube took down all the old videos because we basically called the crash. We called, you know, probably greatest call of all time here. To call a crash, I mean, it was at 3,000. We called for the top and the lows, you know, a full year before it happened. YouTube took all their videos down. They took all the live streams down. They didn't want the knowledge, the true knowledge, to get out there. Now it's just been diluted. I mean, back then we had to worry about Charlie Wong and Keenan and Kel in the afternoon. And Coolio on the entire West Side connection, but these days we're worrying about people on Twitter who don't really know what they're talking about. Anyway, Den, I do recall this move. So people from 4 years ago, if we do in fact make a new high on Bitcoin and it is a parabolic blow off top, that's usually the Bitcoin cycle. 1, 2, 3, 4. The wave 5 is usually the most speculative, the most amount of retail participation. Something like this can happen. Why? Because it's a lower US dollar value coin per coin, and so it creates a feeling of wanting more coins, and so it brings more retail flow simply because each coin is, well, it's half a cent, isn't it? One coin is half a cent. So the psychological part of Dent being a very low valued coin is what brings the retail flow. I'm not expecting a 5,000% move. All I'm saying is people from 4 years ago, once Bitcoin gets above 50k, you know they're going to join the party. So something like this could happen. Obviously, Verge might also be in there as part of a well-diversified portfolio. Why not take a punt? BTT too. But Dent is interesting. Why is it interesting to me? Well, is it going to go up 12x? Well, very, very simply, there's nothing more complicated other than, number one, a parabolic blow off top. Number two, Dent has got a very short supply. If you look at the trading volume divided by the market cap, the circulating market cap of Dent, it's actually a very high percentage. More than 30% of Dent's market cap is getting traded in volume per day. There's obviously a lot of volume here. It's hit the 50. Well, that's your target right there. Can Dent get to 0.07 a coin? Well, we know things that hit the 50, there's a high probability at some point it's going to get to a negative 23.6. That's a 12x move. Obviously, that's a punt. You can't really have more than 1% of your portfolio. But hey, you know, we mentioned this a few days ago. Last night was a bit of a shakeout. Could we get a 12x move on Dent? Something interesting to think about. If you're looking for a coin that's going to make a really big move, you need to look at the trading volume per day divided by the actual market cap. Dent has a market cap currently of, let's call it 490 to be safe. The trading volume last time I checked per day was about 130. That's a very high ratio, isn't it? A third of the market cap is getting traded in volume per day. That's why AMC and GME are making very, very big moves. At least they were prior to the introduction of new shares. The equivalent to this is basically the share float. This is what we look at when we're trading penny stocks or doing IPOs. We're looking at a small share float. TLRY had something very, very similar. Those who have been around for a while, we called a move here. We call this move to 300 as well as a crash. Have a look through the old videos. Here, there was a very, very small stock float, a lot of high volume. So, of course, if the insiders or long-term investors are holding the price, there's a very small supply of shares. Well, supply is inversely proportional to price. It doesn't take a lot of demand to come in to raise the price. So exact same situation on Dent. Look out for these smaller market cap coins. If Bitcoin is genuinely going to have one more blow off top here to 86,000, 92,000, something to watch. And finally, I think we've already shared Luna Coin here. Yeah, I think we've killed Luna Coin. Yeah. That's what we're looking at for Luna Coin. But I do like it against the BTC. It still looks as though it wants to go higher. You know, that's a flat top break. The more times you hit a level, the weaker it gets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to break that level, retest our support, 60,000 sats. So it's a fascinating market. You know, no stock would ever move like this. But hey, this is Bitcoin. As long as we stay above 42,000, we are bullish. I'm liking those coins, but everything is dependent on Bitcoin. Bitcoin needs to stay above this 200-day moving average. We are going to have a golden cross, I would say, in the next 4 weeks or so. But by the time it crosses here, that golden cross, well, guess what? Bitcoin might already be at 50k. So, fascinating market. It cannot drop below 42k. If you want to join the group, if you have any group requests, we take them. Clearly, crypto is going to be our focus. Have a look through the old videos and see what you think. And, well, is it a 2017 replay? Are the good old times from 5 years ago coming back again? Quite possibly. We're going to get some fascinating moves here into the end of the year. If you want to join the group, let's do it. I'll catch you guys soon.